What's up guys, Go Rodeo Gaming here, back with another video from Transport Fever 2. This is my latest map, which I'm going to call Los Angeles to San Diego, the Surfliner. Alright, so let's jump into it. I put a lot of detail into this map. I think this is by far my best map so far, so if you've been following my work, you guys are going to love this one. So this is a little small rendition of the Port of Long Beach. I didn't want to go too crazy. If you want a much better version of the Port of Long Beach, play my Southern California Megalomaniac map. Kind of all the maps I've been making lately, they all kind of overlap at some part of the map. So I try to kind of spice it up, make it fresh, whatever you want to call it, because I don't want it to be too stale or too redundant. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more detail. I'm not 100% done with this map. I'm about 95% done. Hopefully it comes out in a few days, or maybe it'll already be out when you watch this video. So, anyways, Port of Long Beach. If I zoom out, I got Long Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport, Carson, Gardena, Alameda, Vernon, LA itself. We got all the kind of, I wouldn't say Inland Empire, but LA, OC region. Out here really quickly, before I forget, I even made Catalina. So I think this will be a fun kind of addition. Obviously, Catalina is only accessible by boat. There is an airport. I think it's a little bit more for private use, but I think most of their stuff comes in by ship. So we got Catalina. And then before I forget out here, this is supposed to represent the China imports and exports. It's far out in the corner, so you will have to utilize ships in this game. So I should mention most of my maps are very railroad heavy. This one, it's railroad heavy, but it's also trucking heavy, and it's also ship heavy and plane heavy. So it's the full game utilized. Now you don't have to utilize the trucking or the planes, but ships and railroad for sure, but the trucking and the planes will go a long ways. So we got a couple of different yards here in the port. This will be the last thing I speak about. Just kind of wanted to give it some variety. Got some over here. A lot of chemicals and refineries down in this area, so I included that a little bit. Anyways, we'll move on. Right here we got the Alameda Corridor, at least the best rendition I can make of it. It's not actually underground, but it is a ditch, and it is kind of covered on top, so I tried to use the bridges to represent that. Now there are a lot of roads that cross over the Alameda Corridor, so that was my idea behind this. So as we're coming in here to LA, I'll show you some of these other little branch lines in a sec, but we got our main route coming out here heading towards Commerce, but as we come in LA, we got the LA River that runs all the way down. We got all this stuff going on, just like it is in real life. It's quite hectic down here. I only came down here maybe a handful of times when I was at the Union Pacific Railroad, but it's confusing. And there's signals, and there's different types of clearances you need to go onto different subdivisions, and it's just a mess. So we'll start with good old Union Station here, Los Angeles Union Station. Very iconic. So down here, you typically have like an Amtrak yard, but what we got here is just some depots. Trying to look like, because this continues on up the LA River in real life. So we got Union Station, we got downtown. This is going to grow tremendously, especially if you start feeding it. We also have a freight depot that I built, so a little freight branch. We have a little old industrial section that I made, just to kind of represent the different parts of the city. There's a lot of old parts of LA, so I just tried to capture that a little bit. Over here, this is something I really liked, and I've been kind of doing all this on the fly. I had some ideas in mind, but this is the Southern Pacific's 4th Street Yard. Now I should mention that this starts in 1995, so that you can utilize Metrolink, Coaster, and Amtrak was already around, but we want to utilize all the passenger services that we currently have, but I didn't want to start it too far into the modern day either. So we got SP's 4th Street Yard. It sits right on the LA River. And it basically serves just a bunch of industries that kind of peel off right here. So we got a couple of those. So one thing I like is down here there's a lot of like alley running where there's just big buildings and you kind of run in between them. Come out this way, some more old industries. Most of these are not used. Then we come all the way back here to an industry that's still in use. If I zoom out, delivered some goods. Not a whole lot of goods yearly, but enough to kind of keep it going. Got some little newer buildings here still being used. Older industry not being used. I wanted to throw in like a classic car, truck, garage, or at least that kind of setting. So we got that here. I might add some fences and stuff to kind of give it the more of the realistic feel. So come back out and we got another industry that peels in right here. So that's pretty nice. This one takes tools. And then I thought there's a lot that have been abandoned as well. I thought it'd be cool to kind of make one that used to be used but is no more. Got a building I built here that's under construction at the moment, so that's pretty neat. So that's pretty much it for LA. There's really nothing that goes on too much over here through Vernon, Long Beach, Huntington, Westminster, Anaheim, Newport. So we'll come back over here. So we have this. This depicts an SP line at the time. Before the ditch, it was kind of their main line that went down to the harbor. So we got that. That's how the SP will get freight for the 4th Street yard. We have basically a chemical refining. It says food processing plant, but that's obviously not a food processing plant. So bring oil here, make plastic. I think you can export plastic out of the harbor, I should say. Then we got a little branch through here that runs down. I think in real life this is the BNSF. I have all the routes already pre-made so far. So I call this the SP Carson Local. So we have SP servicing it. So what's cool is you have the 3 big railroads at this time. Now 95, the BNSF just merged. So technically the BNSF is here, not the Santa Fe, but it's basically still the Santa Fe. Alright, so I'll show you some of the routing real quick for all the Union Station passenger trains. They come out, they come over this bridge, SP crosses over, and then you come this way, you have what is the BNSF Commerce Yard. This comes out, we got some crossovers. Here we got a manifest portion of the BNSF yard and then the intermodal portion of the BNSF yard, along with a trucking station so that it can be distributed throughout Orange County. I'm not done with this yet, but this is supposed to be the Union Pacific's Commerce Yard. This side they got the manifest yard, this side the intermodal yard. So same thing as the SP's 4th Street yard. They have a lot of industries that kind of come off like this. So I'll be adding that before this game is released. So like I said, it's mostly done, about 95%, but not completely. Alright, so we'll save the best for last. Stick around. I threw in the Hollywood sign there just because this obviously is far away from where Hollywood sign is actually located, but hey, whatever. We have the cutoff for basically the BNSF's coastal route down to San Diego, but first, let's go this way. So I've already depicted this route in other maps, like my Southern California Megalomaniac map. This is basically a more life-size version of it, so I try to add in things as new things to keep it fresh if I've kind of done it in other maps previously, but because of the size of this map, I figured I'd throw it in because I had some space to fill, so I wanted to utilize all of it. So we got Yorba Linda. One thing I want to point out is if you want to know what goes where, I named all the passenger stations after the city they're in, obviously, and then what passenger railroad services it. So Metrolink. Pretty obvious. I still got to lay down the signals for the rest of this route. But we kind of come through here. This would be the 91 freeway. We got the Santa Ana River, I believe, down in the bottom. I still got to add some scenery, some detail, So it's going to look a lot better than this. It looks pretty plain right now. Coming into Corona. Once again, Corona, Metrolink. So Metrolink, so it runs through here. We have a little freight yard, like the BNSF has. And then I will add there was a branch line that ran up to Lake Elsinore, so I'm going to do some research to see when they stopped using that. If it was pre-95, I'm just going to leave it like this. If it was still used in 95, then I will run it all the way up. You guys can still run it all the way up, I don't care. I'm just trying to set the setting, the realistic timeline of this area. So then we got Arlington, which is just before Riverside in real life. And that's where we have the San Bernardino portals, what I like to call it. If you were to think this route continues to San Bernardino and so on to the rest of the United States, that's basically how I think of it. So we got imports and exports out of here too, quite a bit, so that you can run stack trains out of here all the way down to either Commerce Yard, the harbor, or both. So BNSF being Arlington Metrolink, so that's where the end of the line for the metro. And if I zoom out, we got Menifee, Temecula, Lake Elsinore. This is the 15, the 215. We're a little bit up in elevation, so I couldn't add the lake because we're not sea level in this game. Alright, so let's go back down. Let's follow the main route that this game is kind of centered around. And it's this BNSF coastal route. So come through here, we got Santa Ana, Metrolink. Single track with sidings. I tried to make the sidings as decent of a length as I could while keeping the map realistically proportioned, because I want to be able to run some decent sized freight trains down. It's not going to be like my other maps though, where you can run like, mile long trains. Dana Point, Metrolink. And then here it runs along the beach. If I remember, let me write this down really quick if I haven't already. Get my pen out here. I got a list of things to shore up. Clemente rocks. Okay, let's continue. So what I want to do is in real life, when it runs down by the ocean, they got a bunch of rocks, like basically like a barrier for when the sea rises from storms or whatnot. So I want to try to add that, if I can, along this route to give it that realistic look. So we got San Clemente right here. Been here several times. Metrolink. Got a siding, and then it kind of climbs up onto the bluffs. Now the bluffs I wouldn't say are, they might be this tall in spots, but might be a little exaggerated, but hey, it's a game. I try to do my best. So we're heading south, and then we get to, this is a shared Metrolink coaster yard, since they're both owned by counties, they're not private railroads. And then we have the BNSF's Oceanside manifest yard. There's a little manifest yard here that they use to service Escondido and Camp Pendleton. Camp Pendleton I have not built yet, but this is the Y that will go off to it. I will build Camp Pendleton over here, and that'll take some freight, so that'll be cool. You can run a local to that. It's double track through here. Then you have all these kind of bays that run in, so you're constantly coming down into the bay, coming back out of a bay, pretty much all the way down to San Diego. So I included that. Here we got Oceanside. So this is the end of the line for both Metrolink and Coaster. This is where the Metrolink ends, or I should say turns around, and then this is where the Coaster starts, where the end of their run turns back around. So I made sure to include that. We got the Y here for the Escondido branch line. I'll probably add a few more smaller towns throughout these hills where there realistically are in real life. So this is the branch that kind of runs down. I forget the name of this freeway, but I've taken it many times. We got the 15 right here. And it runs in. There's still a facility that I believe takes some freight cars to this day. So that's supposed to be a depiction of that. And then it also serves just for the general freight of Escondido. Alright, so let's go back out to the main line. So next is Carlsbad. Been here too. Great beach camping along this whole route. So we've got Carlsbad, and we even got the Carlsbad power plant. which I don't believe is used anymore, but it's still there. So I made sure to build that just to give you the feel if you're familiar with this area. If you're not, get a good idea of what it's like. So now Carlsbad coaster. So as you can see, now we're in coaster territory. Now we run through here. I need to add another city about right here. This would be Encinitas area, so I'll probably have to add Encinitas right there. But we run down to another bay. This one's a pretty big bay in real life. Then we come up to Solana Beach. Now what's interesting about Solana Beach is the station is down in the ground. The railroad basically cut through this bluff so that the grade wouldn't be too much to get to the top and then back down. Because from this bay to the top of this bluff is a pretty short distance like this. So it is cut down into the ground, so I made sure to have the station down there as well. This is Solana Beach. Over here we have Del Mar. I used to live in Del Mar for a month every June basically, so that was awesome. Living in the Inland Empire growing up there was always hot, so that was an awesome break to get out of the heat. I want to find a mod to where I can create a fairground here, because there is the San Diego County Fairgrounds right here, but haven't been able to find one yet. I'll keep looking around. So we come down to Del Mar, and it's got a pretty short, steep transition here, even in real life. It's pretty significant. This is a beach I went to a lot of houses along here, parking lot, all this stuff. It's just, we're downscaled, so I'm including everything I can that'll look decent. Coming up here is a pretty steep grade, really short-lived, maybe only like a mile in real life. If you come all the way back down into this bay, but it's pretty steep like this in real life. It's pretty impressive. So then we come down here, we still got the 15, or actually this is the 5 freeway coming up into Sorrento Valley. If you guys are familiar with this area, you'll recognize this. You got 2 freeways that come in with some pretty big overpasses. Got a siding here. And then we have, I don't know what they technically call this grade, but it's a short, steep grade. It's 3%. And it just kind of winds its way up this little canyon into the top of this ridge, basically. So to the left we have Mar Mesa and Mortimer Airport. I gotta rename that. This is a Marine Corps base. So I made it a freight airport, and then I'll make sure to write Marine Corps. So you can still use it. I don't care, but for me, I probably won't use it. It's more for looks, just because it's there in real life. Here we got a little branch line that comes off the Service Mar Mesa in the Mortimer area. So I use pretty realistic track from using Google Maps to track this correctly, map it correctly. So this takes some grain, this produces some stone, and then this runs down and services Mar Mesa. So pretty cool. I already have this pre-routed. So this is called the BNSF Miramar Local. It runs out of San Diego, which we're almost getting to. Now this I thought was cool. I've ridden through here many times on coaster, because we would jump on in Solana Beach when I would live down in Del Mar for a month. We'd jump in Solana Beach, ride all the way down into downtown. So it does have a bridge that comes over right here from a highway. So this is a pretty good looking depiction. Got the siding, got the Y, got some crossovers here. So the local, there actually are crossovers here, but the local comes up and it needs to be able to come back out as well. So I didn't need a fully directional track. Looks like the routes chose to direct, so what I'll have to do here while we're at it. So this is still running both ways, so that's what I like. Let's see here, there's a little bit of a problem going on. I might have to come back to that later. For whatever reason, the southbound trains don't want to use... Oh, I see why. I made a boo-boo. This is... And then blam. Okay, we fixed that. So now this local can come in and out on main track 2 is what it would be. And then you can still service it right on. Okay. Glad I caught that before I released the map. I thought I had everything shored up, but that's why sometimes you gotta triple and quadruple check. So we come down into San Diego. This is my favorite part of the map. I love San Diego. It's the only big city I like. I'm a country boy, but I don't mind going down to San Diego for a weekend. Plenty to do. We got what was Qualcomm Stadium. I don't think it's there anymore. And it's actually a little farther this way, but hey, that's where I had room. So just trying to create it. If I am correct, this is the 8 freeway, which heads out to the desert eventually. You got the 163, I think. Forget the name of this freeway. Then you have the 15 coming down here in the background. There is a little bit of a river that runs through this valley, so I included that. Even included Old Town San Diego. It's an old Spanish settlement. It's the original settlement. There really wasn't any old Spanish buildings I could find, so I just used the Old West. So, we've got a bus stop here and a passenger stop. So, like there is in real life. Then we start coming down. We got San Diego International Airport. I feel like that was important. I need to put one up in Los Angeles as well. Let me write that down. That's another thing I gotta do. LA Airport. So as you can see, this map will keep you busy for a very long time. Come down to downtown San Diego. I actually found a depot that kind of looks like the Santa Fe depot somewhat. So I'm glad I found that. So that's where the coaster ends. Now you get over here, we got the boardwalk of downtown. There's a museum here where they got old pirate ships. There's some big billion-dollar owner yachts from Russia and various places that park their yachts in San Diego. And then we got the USS Midway Museum. So really glad that I was able to find some military ships, Navy ships, so that I can depict this. This is a retired aircraft carrier that is now a museum. So you can go there and go all throughout it, top and bottom. It's really great experience. So it is a modern aircraft carrier, but I renamed it the USS Midway. So over here we got Coronado. It's another Navy island. We got some ships. If I remember, I'm gonna put in a trucking freight depot for the military base. Found some buildings that are kind of military style. This is what I'll use for Camp Pendleton as well. So Coronado, and then we come down here into, I think they call this the gas lamp district of San Diego, at least these days. I don't think it existed at the time. But we got the convention center, hotel, just to kind of give it some good feel. Then we got the coasters yard for San Diego here. Excuse me as I yawn. I always make these things when I wake up. So, and then there's quite a bit of a little harbor port. So I'll probably add some more detail here. Got an industry right here that takes stone. Got the BNSF's San Diego yard, a little depiction of it, which is also connected to a truck stop, because there's a lot of cities that need cargo basically. So come down here, there's a lot of shipbuilding in San Diego. So this is what this is supposed to depict. A lot of our military's Navy ships are built or rebuilt here, along with cargo ships, you name it. So that's what this is supposed to depict. We got a station down here. There's a little refinery here, a little offshoot, so I made that. So you can run a local here. I don't have any locals out of San Diego. I'll probably make a yard job that will service all this. Then I made a little yard here that takes steel for the shipbuilding. I thought that'd be pretty cool. A little south of this whole area, there's a car import place. I believe it's imports. So then you export it up north, So this is what this is supposed to be. Like I said, if I remember, I'll add some detail to make it look like an actual auto facility. So this is meant to take auto-rack trains, so that's why I put the auto-racks in parentheses. If you look at the route, I have a route for the BNSF San Diego auto train, parentheses, auto-racks. So you don't have to do this, I don't care. But when I run it, I'll run an auto-rack train down to here to bring out the goods. And a few little things. We got a currently used aircraft carrier out in the ocean right here. Point Loma, Pacific Beach, La Jolla, and then back to Sorrento Valley. Got all these cities now. It wasn't as populated around here, so that's why I kind of left some open space, because it is 1995. Got the 15, Rancho Bernardo, Escondido, and then it runs kind of up and down these mountains like in real life to Temecula and back to Menifee. So I got, let's see what I got on the list. The UP Commerce Industries, Camp Pendleton, LA Airport, San Clemente Rocks. Finished the San Bernardino sub for the BNSF. I got to signal it. Santa Ana River vegetation. Got a Metrolink route I got to create. Add some fences. I want to add, I think there's some oil rig mods, because off of Huntington, Long Beach, and Newport, there's some oil rigs out here. So if I can find a mod for that, I will surely add that. So yeah, I hope you like this map. I've put in more time into this map than any other map I've ever made, and I think it shows. So this is what I've been wanting to do for a while, but I really wanted to do it right. I've been working on this for probably about a week and a half now, and you know, I can imagine after doing this map for a while, after playing it for a while, it's going to become one city basically after a while, like it is in real life now. Same with the San Diego region. I think it's going to become very inhabited. San Diego's going to get big skyscrapers. I mean, this map is endless. So anyways, I hope you enjoy it. I'm probably going to put this video out before I'm done with it, so make sure to leave a comment of what I should add to it, if there's anything you can think of. And if I see it in time, I will do my best to incorporate that into the map, whatever suggestions you have. So anyways, hope you like the map, and look forward to sharing it with you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, I've been making my personal locomotive reskins for Transport Fever 2. We did that, slurring my words here. It's taken me a long time to figure out how to do it, but I'm making it. I already have 2 locomotives up on the workshops. Look out for those. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Any suggestions are welcomed. We'll check you guys later.